In the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Flying high, I emerge through the flames. Have no fear, I'm here, so stand back. Melanin activate, the name is super black. In the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Flying high, I emerge through the flames. Have no fear, I'm here, so stand back. Melanin activate, the name is super black. Imagine that, a future that's super black. Long as your skin brown, your superpowers intact. What would your powers be? Just hope it ain't super whack. Spatial manipulation, create a portal that's black. Maybe just super speed, time travel to run it back. Or cheat manipulation to keep my spirit intact. As I encounter evils the world face, demons the world makes, I needed the world to stay. Rest in peace to Chadwick, they killed all the Black Panthers. Told us white lies, I still marvel at black answers. Suits in DC, pray it lead to a civil war. It ain't no Justice League, what's the need to be civil for? Propelled like the juggernaut, it's clear ain't no stopping this. The world in grave danger, who can stop the apocalypse? They killed all the heroes, the new ones don't really care. But if you need me, put your fist up in the air. Yeah, in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Flying high, I emerge through the flames. Have no fear, I'm here, so stand back. Melanin activate, the name is super black. In the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane. Flying high, I emerge through the flames. Have no fear, I'm here, so stand back. Melanin activate, the name is Super Black.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Blerd's Eye View, Thursday night edition, of course. If you are watching now and it's your first time, thank you for tuning in, and you can always check us out on YouTube. Make sure you hit that notification button and hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment, subscribe, have some fun. Also, you can check us out on Twitch, Blerd's Eye View 1, and if you're watching us here on Facebook, you're welcome. Check us out here, and you can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts. But let's get this party on the road. But if you haven't heard the great news, I'll let this handsome man tell it best.
Hey everybody, it is your man on the wall, Chris Fury here from Blerd's Eye View. We've got some great news. Guess what? We are now an affiliate with Otaku Noir. What? How can you get some of that? Who is Otaku Noir? Let me explain it to you. Otaku Noir is a Blerd mystery box company, and they give you some of the best Blerd content for some of the best, most talented Blerds that's out here today. You need to get in on this. How can you get in on this? Just follow this link right at the bottom and type in the Blerd code Blerd's Eye View to get a discount off when you go to checkout. Check out Otaku Noir for all their best Blerd stuff. I love my box. I'm sure you're gonna love yours. Check you guys later.
The handsome man, isn't he? Let's get the team going. Let's start off with Lady Mandalore. What's going on?
Oh, well, good evening. How are you all?
The
Carry Cures on deck. Only for the most illustrious guests.
Oh, of course.
Blerd's Eye View.
And when do we fail on that level? So
we ain't never slipping, sir.
There you go. Oh my goodness. So we have the cinematic assassin in the building. What's going on?
Hey, the fantastic part about you saying this handsome man is like I completely zoned out. It's like, ooh, he's not talking about me.
We're gonna work on your self-confidence, Will.
Also, I just want to say something real quick. Fate of the Furious was on earlier today, and I was looking at Charlize's head, and I was like, why the dreads? But then it hit me. Nothing says trouble like a white woman with locks. I just
It's not wrong.
Styled by Dr. Umar. There we go.
All right, and on that note, we got Black Spartan.
We're making up for Tuesday. We didn't let you off easy.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious?
Oh my goodness.
That one there.
So if you guys have been living under a rock, which COVID's over, so you shouldn't be. We have a special guest tonight. Carl Jones from Martian Blueberry is in the building. Let's get that.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah. Hold on. Now I'm paying y'all. But not that much. There's ramen noodles and Kool-Aid in the kitchen. Help yourself.
You should say Kool-Aid, not Flavor Aid.
Not Flavor Aid. Not Flavor Aid. If you go cheaper than Kool-Aid, that's an issue. Carl, how's it going, man?
Good, man. I'm a little tired, a little long day, but you guys got such good energy, so I'm vibing off of you guys right now.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that's the good move. That's what I'm talking about. What's happening? Geek by Heart is Geek by Heart, and here our resident horror writer for blerdseyeview.org. Love Barnett.
Hey.
Thank you for tuning in. And congratulations on your upcoming nuptials, by the way. So
on the top.
Love. Aw.
So hey TJ, I see you. So it's been a week. It's been a week for everybody. We may not do the spoilers, but we're gonna do a recap. Probably in the next week or so. But I know the cinematic assassin's seen it. What did you think? Just give me your base thoughts for Ant-Man Quantumania. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania.
I feel like
will we vibed for Black History Month? Well, is that what it was?
Without spoilers, I feel like they need to, maybe better define who the wasp they're talking about in the title of the film is. And yeah, shout out to the bottom of Jonathan Major's foot. He's doing a lot of heavy lifting.
It was. I tell you what, it wasn't those red Astro Boy boots. I can tell you that much.
His feet
That
and
was
his
all
thighs
black
was
Air
black.
Force, Timberland, Energy Butters. That was all of that.
That was DMX, Mobb Deep, Annie Up music playing in the background.
Wait, that was he was getting his lick back from American History X. He had to show him how to do it right.
You got to put your hip into it.
Yeah, your whole body. You got to lean into it, baby. You got full committal.
Like,
and as you know,
what song was you listening to when that happened?
as you know, the crew here, we're all about Black Jesus. You know, it's Black History Month.
Long
So-
rain.
Give it a minute. It'll be on fans. It'll be on fans and Southern Black churches in the next year. Watch.
I guarantee you. Look, they got it with Obi-Wan. Why not? So before we get into with our guest Carl Jones tonight, and we'll talk about his amazing body of work and what he's offered to the community, but most importantly, the Blerd community. We got some news tonight. You guys ready for that?
Yo,
right, let's do it.
Share with the class.
We missed it last week or this past Tuesday, but they are bringing back GoldenEye. That was best known for on Nintendo. They're bringing it back for the Nintendo Switch.
Nice.
And I'm looking forward to that. Unlike that video that you see when the dad is getting beat by his son, and then they put on the original. It's not going to be that type of hype. You're not going to get hype like that.
Okay.
Well, somebody's uncle will. I don't know, but
I got nephews that want to play GoldenEye so bad. I'm just like, it's not Fortnite.
You about to cry for real.
Yeah.
you will become men after this game.
GoldenEye did something to us, boy. Between GoldenEye and Mario, it did some major numbers to us.
Definitely change it changes, y'all. I've seen I remember dudes going into play and then coming out completely different energy.
Oh, because you get a real world experience in less than 2 hours.
Yes. What's going on, Savage? There you go.
Hey, listen, that was most definitely me as far as the change of energy. I was so buns at this game for some reason. I retired from first person shooters then.
that 101, boy, that has
Call of Duty.
That's how you learn to read a map. It's how you learn to read a map.
You learn how to trash talk. You learn how to manipulate people. Actually, that's a very terrible thing to say about video games, but you learn life skills.
You're right. You're right, Geek by Heart. GoldenEye ends friendships. Monopoly ends families.
And
Uno causes fights.
Yeah,
Uno causes fights. It's a number of things.
Spades causes murders.
Right.
Bodies.
Oh man. So we've been hearing about Wonder Man. So they've already tapped a director. And it's going to be Stella Meggy, who you best know her for the movie The Photograph. She's going to be directing. Yes.
Oh.
This is another example of black women winning.
Black women getting to the bag.
All right. Can I say I'm very happy that she's got a job. I'm very happy she's got a job.
However,
they set her up for the fall with these writers when it comes to Marvel. I'm just gonna say that out loud. I don't trust. I don't have trust. I do not trust.
Oh, you say follow up with the writers? Yeah.
They setting her up for the fall. You can direct whatever you want to direct, but if you give me a script that's la poo poo.
Well, we don't know if she's gotten control over writing. We don't know that yet.
No, I know. I'm saying they're gonna set her up for the fall.
I mean, yeah, there is that.
You better look at that script and be like, "What you want me to do with this?"
We'll see. I mean, it's it's a Disney Plus series, and more likely it's going to be limited. So we'll see.
I just want excellence. That's all I'm saying.
In other news, we're finally getting that Rick and Michonne spinoff, but I think it might be a little too late.
Yeah.
Even though it's limited, this is also a limited series. But as you see, this is they're the directors or the actors' chairs that they have, and they showed it with them holding hands. I'm like, it came a little late.
Yeah.
especially with The Last of Us kicking behind right now. Ain't nobody fucking behind like that no more.
Yeah. How many ways can you beat a dead horse?
They're gonna show you.
Did you mean that as a pun? I'm just asking.
They're gonna show you in a 6-episode arc how to beat a dead horse.
Oh crap! I forgot about the farm. Okay, literally, how many ways can you beat a dead horse? Not talking Herschel's farm. I had to think about that for a second.
Okay.
They on the same schedule that the Black Widow movie released on.
Yeah. Too little, too late.
Damn. Well,
but we're here for Michonne. We're here for Denai Guerrero. We're definitely here for Denai Guerrero. Why they got that sister wearing them locks, looking rough like that, and yet somehow still pull it off. That's the beauty of black women. It's the beauty of black women. They pull off the magic flawlessly.
We gonna make it work.
We gonna make much dead horse beating. Exactly.
Oh, hey Chad, how you doing, Chad? Hey.
What's going on? The team over at Midnight Comics, congratulations on your Kickstarter and meeting that goal.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking
I can't wait.
So in other news, Aquaman 2 did test screenings. And
no notes.
It don't look good. It don't look good.
If he just puts out a movie just like that, it'll be fine.
You just want 2 hours of him standing there in the suit.
2 hours of sitting there in the suit, just getting wet. Really, Kier? That's what it does for you?
Maybe he eats a sandwich. I don't know. We'll try things.
Shout out to Ross Sats, man. Will said it and I called it. Pause.
Be careful, Will.
I'm a quick study. I'm just saying. Speaking of things that are a little too late.
Kira.
Oh, dang.
So HBO Max picked up Welcome to
you.
Derry, which is a prequel to It. I don't know why.
What? This again?
Who cares?
Okay, beating a dead balloon.
Clown. Beating a
No,
dead
it is. I realize you are never going to beat it.
See, now Raw, but I caught it. See, I told you, quick study. Shout out to Raw Says out there from All on the Table. That's my guy, man.
All I can say is why? Why are we going right back to the story of Pennywise that has been told and retold, and now we need a prequel? Why? Do we find out how the clown became, how he became it?
That's kind of where they're going for it, is like the prequel to that. And I'm like, I mean, here's my thing when it comes to prequels or sequels. Mm-hmm. You have a window that you should probably you called it pause. There should be a window where you release a prequel or you release a movie. And when it comes to a sequel, it should immediately start being worked on.
Yeah.
If it's a prequel, you might want to catch that right away, because if you wait too long, that core audience that you targeted, they grow up, they move on to other things, whatever. They may not have the interest anymore. So it becomes this dead in the water type of entity. And you're just like, well, we didn't make a lot of money, but we had to do something to get rid of the property.
Yeah.
So Heroes.
Yeah.
Avatar.
Sin City.
Avatar. Oh, I'm sorry.
This allergies. I know.
Bullshit gets caught in my throat.
BZ the voice. The only other John Stewart I will recognize besides Phil Lamar.
All hail. Bow your heads and pray.
There you go. They should do a series on how It and Mary Poppins are the same.
That's a fair assessment. That is a fair assessment.
Somebody needs to explain this to me.
I always thought it was the Mary Poppins and Hogwarts theory, but this one I'm kind of interested in now.
Actually, both of them come out of nowhere. Both of them deal with kids. Only kids can see that person. Holy crap! That's a fair assessment.
So Ross says, not
can
that
see
I'm
Mary
old and scared of the
Poppins.
sewers. I'm definitely gone.
Think about it. Mary Poppins never, Mary Poppins never won. Nobody ever wanted to smoke with Mary Poppins.
Oh no.
Nobody
she could
wants to
pull you
smoke with
into
a
an
British
alternate
lady that
dimension.
flows with an umbrella. That's a witch.
She takes care of that business really real quick. It's no question.
Huh.
So I don't know, but it is. That's what I see. We've seen it. Kira, her allergies acted up. Avatar. Sin City was another one. Terminator suffered.
Oh yeah, damn kill for. Sorry.
Wait a minute. Not Terminator. Terminator going from Terminator 1 to Terminator 2 was a giant gap, but both movies were excellent.
Exactly.
I was gonna say anything.
So I feel like that's a loophole situation. In that situation,
It's anything after 2.
Yeah,
anything after 2 is
what other movies were there? I don't understand. What are you talking about?
There was the one where the Terminator's titties grew. That happened.
Is that the Rob Liefeld treatment?
I think one of them had Common for some reason. He was there.
Cornbread stealing Common. That was for you, DC.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Oh God, that was bad.
And,
that's when Batman yelled at everybody and they caught him on a hot mic.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Being a a-hole.
It went downhill from there.
It did. It really did.
But that's movies that those are franchises that they should have ended where they ended. They did not need more movies. I mean, I'll use Predator. Predator should have ended after 2.
Yeah.
After Predator 2, that was pretty much it.
Because even with AVP, there was issues.
Yeah. I mean, once Danny Glover called him an ugly old, you an ugly motherfucker. That's it. That's it. That's all we need.
Cut. Scene. Done.
Didn't need to see anything else. I will say that we're gonna see him tomorrow. Tell Carl we're gonna see him tomorrow. Yep. REA the King, Geek Salad Podcast.
Hey.
Check them out. Check them
out.
Yeah, you're right. So it's just one of those things where you kind of have to strike while the iron is hot type of situations.
Yeah.
And it's like MCU is one of those situations.
Mm-hmm.
They have setups, they hit it at certain notes, and nobody said they were all great, and they don't have to be.
No.
But at the same time, it's there. So it's keeping the interest, whether it's not disjointed, it's not disconnected with anything. It is cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
You just have other properties that can't seem to figure that out. It's like, well, no, let's just throw it at the wall. No, you don't want to do that.
No. And that's how you wind up with Batman versus Superman: Dawn of Justice. Anyway,
when somebody say get out the good clothes, you don't put out the red rubber Astro Boy shoes and
Are those done yet?
No,
they've moved on to the Butters version of it, where it makes you look like you're wearing Mario boots, or recently the Incredible Hulk ones, and
the Hulk version 2s.
Where am I?
We've been asking ourselves that same thing. We don't know what's going on.
You know what? This goes to show you there is no such thing as a bad idea. There's no such thing as a bad idea.
There's always a such thing as a bad idea. Just bad execution.
Let's look, the Astro Boy 11s. How many people have we seen now wearing them?
5. 5. I've counted them. 5. This is not. I will not. I cannot. I don't know anybody that has them. No, matter of fact, no. I saw somebody in Union Square with them on.
Yo,
he couldn't get them off. He needed at least 3 or 4 people to get them off. It's not even a joke. Stop. You're gonna hurt yourselves. Stop it.
So it's the hoverboard situation all over again.
Those things are only good for walking during floods. That's about it.
Did you know that's Jaden Smith's? Isn't that his?
That's his idea.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Yeah, he put those out.
Wow.
He got his money.
I'm
Liability insurance
not
was
going to talk
crazy.
about nobody's children because
got
that
his
is not
money.
people on live TV. So I'm just going to be quiet.
I was so mad he called hoverboards. I was mad about the wording. I'm like, that's not a hoverboard. It's basically a wheeled scooter with no stick. You just got it by the feet. That's it.
Just go back to the shoes with the shoes with the roller skates in them. Just
The Hurleys. Oh,
the Hurley. Let's go back to those.
Oh, wait a minute. Those are fun. Those are fun. Hold on. Those are fun.
Wheelies?
No, seriously, because
Whatever they're
my
called.
wife seen a kid. We were in the store one time, and she seen a kid, and she just seen this kid was moving a little too smooth behind us. And she was like, that boy was moving like he was a vampire or something. I said, I ain't gonna lie, don't let me behold you. If he had a cloak, it'd be perfect.
He said he was sliding to the camera like a Spike Lee film.
Right. Had that double dolly move. I'm like, yo, it has some applications.
That's a lot of special effects work at low budget. Just slide on them and Hurleys. Just we'll get the fog machine going at the same time. So you got the little after effect.
Yes, that's called practical effects.
Good evening.
Yes. It just
Imagine
works.
Spike trying to tell Denzel, now put these on your feet real quick. Now what we going to do?
Did you see Denzel? Wait. Spike. Hang on, Spike. You tell me I'm gonna put on these shoes and slide in this.
You saying Denzel playing Frank White rolling up on Idris Elba with the glass jar? I want the money in the jar.
I can't see that.
Denzel and some Heelys is nasty.
I'm sorry. I keep picturing the gay dude in the in the pum pum shorts. That me just skating by. That's all I see.
So we just gonna ignore the gentleman in the head that just walked past. Yeah, he ain't got nothing but his underwear on, just sliding right past us. We just gonna ignore that, Frank? Huh?
You know, black folks just keep it moving. That ain't our business.
He don't look like that boy. Don't bother nobody.
He ain't bother nobody. He ain't hurt nobody. He just going about his business.
He's special. Don't pay him no mind. He's fine.
Right. So in the comics world, Jonathan Hickman is bringing back the Ultimates for a 4-issue limited series. He's bringing that back with Brian Hitch, no doubt.
Nice.
Can't believe that was 20 years ago when the Ultimates comics was dropped.
I wasn't even alive then.
So I kind of feel a ways about that. Kind of feel a ways. I was there for that issue. So
Chris, you don't have to bring up numbers. It's fine.
I didn't make the numbers.
I was there, Gandalf. I was there when it was written.
I was there when it was written.
When the magic was written.
At Inception, we were there.
At
before.
Inception,
In the before 4 times, you did not know joy.
those were dark days. There were dark days and longer winters.
You merely adopted the darkness. I was that type of thing. It's that type of thing. That type of energy. So that's all we have for the Blerd news of the week. But man, that's kind of a bit. I am looking forward to I like Jonathan Hickman as a writer. He does put out some really good stuff. Teaming up with Brian Hitch, who's great on his art. So, and it's only 4 issues, so they're going to get into it, be done, boom. He's good on the completion when it comes to story arcs. His run on Fantastic Four was absolutely amazing. Mm-hmm. He told a long form story and knocked it out the park.
He definitely set X-Men up for success.
Oh, yes.
Yes, he
recent
did.
line.
If you are not reading any of the X-Men books right now, you are missing out.
Finish the line, that is.
Oh, yes. We're gonna hold that. We're gonna hold that one, BZ. We're gonna ask him. So we're gonna take this quick little break. All right. And we're gonna get to our guest. Carl Jones.
Multi-talented, hyphenated, illustrious Carl Jones.
We'll just call him the man with the plan. We'll just say
the man who gave us so much joy in so many things.
Shaped my childhood and adulthood.
Right. So we'll take this break.
This just in.
Feeling groggy in the morning? Coffee just can't give you that pep in the step that you're looking for? Try Pop Starts for that great get up and go that adults need. Pop Starts has the vitamin and nutrients that only grown-ups can partake in, and with flavors such as tossed salad and scrambled eggs. and Jack Daniels and Bud Light flavors to start your day or end it. There's nothing better to wake up to unless you count that depressing cubicle job. Well, anyway, try Pop Starts today. Pop Starts is not part of the Kellogg's Corporation. Pop Starts could give you diarrhea. Pop Starts are not found in your local grocery store. And if you go to the stores now, you can still get your Pop Starts, and they're cheaper than a package of eggs. I'll tell you that much. We have special guests with us tonight. Carl Jones, we'll get him up there right there. All right, here we go.
Hey.
I switched around. And co-founder of Martian Blueberry, producer, writer, co-producer of the Boondocks, Black Dynamite, the Jellies, FREAKNIK the musical. He's done voice work. We're going to get into that.
Mr. Thugnificent himself.
You ever read Marvel comics back in the day and wonder how those heroes do all this stuff? This is this brother right here. So we don't get it.
Hold on. Wait. Did I hear FREAKNIK the musical?
FREAKNIK the musical. Yes.
Well, I've clearly been deprived of greatness in my life. Okay.
Come with me.
So we're going to start. He's worked on The Last OG. He's everything we pretty much watched and touched.
Except for
cinematic
black, he has something to do with it.
Yeah,
there you go. If it's black, he probably had a hand in it.
Pretty much. So, Carl, number one, thank you for coming on and giving us your time. Where do we even begin? So, first off, the visuals for Meg Thee Stallion, Traumazine. How did that come about? Like, I know she just didn't knock on your doors. So, like, how did that come about?
Yeah. So we are developing another project together that I can't really talk about yet.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, but I met her through a producer friend of mine who was I think he was doing a documentary with her or something. And he was like, yo, we should really figure out something for Meg because she's like a huge anime fan and she loves the Boondocks and Black Dynamite. So we met, and I just kind of picked her brain a little bit and kind of, just got a vibe for the kind of things that she liked. And so I went in the lab and came back with an idea that she really liked. And then, I don't know, maybe like a month and a half, 2 months later, she was like, yo, I got this album I'm dropping soon. Would you like to direct some animation for one of the music videos? And I'm like, of course. Right. So I did that. That video hasn't come out yet, by the way. And then after she saw what we were doing with this video, she asked if we could do some visualizers. So we were like, sure. And then she asked if we can do some merchandise. We were like, sure.
Green means go.
Yeah, it was just like a really good fit because, she was like, not only is she like a hardcore like anime head, but not just because of the aesthetics and the look, because there's a lot of fans and people that just actually just like the idea of anime, but she's like really into the stories and she is a storyteller. I mean, even with her music, she's really strong storyteller. But yeah. I love that she dug a little deeper into like character and themes and like what she wants to say with the video and the music. Because honestly, most people would just assume that like you see WAP and you see all the twerking and stuff, but like that's like one side of her. She's actually like really, really, really deep, man, and intentional about a lot of stuff she does.
That girl plays chess.
Yeah, I think with tracks like NDA and Anxiety and like when you really listen to him, you're just like, this woman's on it. He's on. She's on it.
And the funny thing about that too is, first of all, they didn't give us a deadline. They just say, "Would you like to do these visualizers?" We were like, "Yes," and they say, "Can you have them done tomorrow?" We're like, "Wait a minute."
See, the thing is,
so it was a lot of candles being burned on both ends. I'll put it that way. And so we worked really hard to crank them out. And she didn't even want to approve them. Like she trusted me that much to just we literally, as soon as we turned them in, they were uploading them to YouTube as we were turning them in, as we were
like ready.
Yeah, she was like,
ready.
Good.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like your resume has anything but like flawless attached to it, sir. I'm just gonna say that good. Like come on, like if anything, she'd have somebody else. She'd have you approve somebody else's work that they were given to her.
Best case scenario. So BZ the Voice has a question. He says, what kind of positive windfall, if any, resulted in winning the Peabody?
I don't know, man. That's an interesting question, man. Because you know, I'm not sure people really, I'm not sure everyone really understood what we were doing with the Boondocks. And what I mean by that is, like, we have like a really strong fan base, right, that supports us, and they love what we do. And I think we do have a shorthand with them. But in terms of like Hollywood and like, does this actually mean something to, the people that are buying stuff? Like, it might, but I think a lot of people are afraid of it. It's just like it won a Peabody, but a lot of the content we were making was so edgy and so, you know what I mean? It was so culturally specific. And that I think a lot of networks, shy away from those kind of shows because it doesn't, in their minds, it doesn't reach a global audience or a broad audience, which, we know that's not true, obviously. But Adult Swim was a very unique a network in that they took risks that a lot of networks, you don't see a lot of networks take. Like, even if you look at Aqua Teen Hunger Force, like, how do you pitch that show to a network? You know what I'm saying? It's a fry and a wad of meat and a milkshake living together next to this guy named Carl. It's like, like no one would have made that show. And honestly, like, the Boondocks got turned down at Fox first. A lot of people don't know that. And so I don't know. It's been really hard to do that kind of comedy with that kind of satire and social commentary. So I don't know, man. Like, I mean, it's a cool accolade, but I think the struggle still continues. Like, we're still working really hard to get that door to open and get the networks to see that there is, you know what I mean? Like we can do smart Black humor that's also edgy and ignorant at times.
I don't know if you can answer this question or not, but do you feel like you could have pitched this show today and been on with less struggle to getting it made?
Hell no. No.
Okay.
One thing the man's gonna be is consistent and honest. I tell you,
man. I tell you right now, like, I'm having. Well, look, I got a few things in development, right? I'm working on stuff, but that particular voice and that kind of comedy is like, it's really hard to do, man. It's it's. But it's one of those things where, like, I know, everyone talks about cancel culture and, there's all these landmines, right? But the networks, they number one, they're operating from a place of fear usually, right? Like, they're not taking as many risks as they used to, period. Like, if you notice a lot of the program, if you think about like the streaming platforms right now, they're just like, like heating up old TV shows and films. Like, what I mean? Like,
saying there's no originality in Hollywood, sir?
Right.
Is that what we're talking about right now?
Exactly. So they're really trying to minimize the risk in every single category. And I think, so it's less offensive as the content can be. I think the better for most networks. And but you don't have. That's why you don't have a Black South Park, and you don't have.
They bet not.
but that's
not on South Park. I don't mean
right, exactly. But that's the thing, South Park was very polarizing. The Boondocks was very polarizing. Black Dynamite was very polarizing. So it was a lot of people that offended. There was a lot of people that hated it, but there was also a lot of people that loved it and became cult followers of it. And and at one time, I think it was worth it to create a polarizing show if you can build that kind of fandom. Today, if it's just two niggas that do a tweet, it's like that tweet something that they don't like it, then all of a sudden, you see the trade say Twitter reacts. It's two people. Two people were offended, and now Twitter reacts. And these, these executives, they, this is the kind of stuff that means something to them. And so I don't know. I think it's really difficult. I'll just say that.
So you were quoted as saying that you wanted to be the next Pixar, and that sometimes you get so many voices in the room.
There it goes.
We froze. Okay, you're back.
I want to repeat your question.
Oh, I said you were quoted saying that you wanted to be the next Pixar, and saying that sometimes you get so many voices in a room telling you what to do that you can lose your own voice.
Yeah,
and it sounds it's kind of a thing where, especially for people of color, having a story to tell and trying to reach everyone, but really reaching that core audience. Is that what it comes from?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think hip hop is the best example of that, right? Like, this is a culture that was born out of a very specific set of circumstances, and it was created by a small subculture within a subculture within a subculture, and it was only done for a very few people. It was, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that music reached your entire block, it was a success. And that music has transcended into it's popular music now, right? It's like all over the world, it's global. And none of the music that was being made when hip hop, at its first, when it first started to really, take off. I mean, if you think about groups like Wu-Tang, they were damn near rapping in hieroglyphics. Like, who the average person had no idea what they were talking about.
Yo, you're good. You're good. It's open platform here.
Yeah. But I think people, what resonated with people the most was the authenticity, right? And how they were unapologetically who they were. They were honest, and it came from a real place. And I think people also related to the energy of hip hop, right? Because it kind of, there was this aggressive. I mean, there was all kinds of hip hop at the time, but I just mean, like, there was music that was really aggressive. You know what I'm saying? And even though people may not have necessarily lived in the projects and they were on the other side of the world, they resonated with that aggression because maybe something else in their life was going on that they felt like this was a way to express that. You know what I mean? So for me, I just think, like, like that tells us everything. You know what I mean? And you can't. I don't know. You can't. I don't think, like, you can't. That's not people that were looking for a market or trying to create a product that was palpable for the entire world. They were just doing them, and they were making sure that it was good. You know what I'm saying? And so that's all I try to focus on. And when I talk about like Pixar or Disney, I just mean, like, these are people who really, really care about story. You know what I'm saying? And I don't, and we don't have, a quote unquote Black Disney or Pixar. But I feel like I'm not trying to compare myself to Disney, to Walt Disney or John Lasseter or anything like that. But I just mean in terms of, like, bringing the right people together to tell these really, really important stories and executing them so well that it's undeniably good, and we can literally, you know what I mean, like reach the entire world with these stories that are very, very nuanced and culturally specific. And I think Soul was a good example of that. It was still kind of broad, but there was moments where you're like, damn, that's a real Black barbershop.
Yeah.
And we haven't really seen that, in a Pixar scale.
In the animated fashion, right.
Yeah. So we need more of that,
Okay, I think that's a door that opened for you. Shout out to G Black, who does the intro for Blerd's Eye View. He says, "Thank you, brother. You've helped raise a generation. Excited to see what you continue to offer."
And the whole part of giving us the Boondocks and Black Dynamite, as a Black Dynamite super fan, sir. First and foremost, thank you for the animated version. I'm pleased as punch. I still watch it. Can't watch around my kids, but I will eventually get them around to that.
I still watch it. I still watch both the shows. I'm sorry.
But I guess my question to you, because I do see that you are, I should say your company, Martian Blueberry, is coming out with an undeniable video series, particularly of the MLB history of the Negro Leagues. I thought that was great when I saw that, because number one, I am a fan of the Negro Leagues of baseball, the Monarchs, the White Sox, and the rest of the teams. But you're also focusing on the women's teams, where that story doesn't really get told a lot. especially out the fact of not just African American baseball players, but women playing as well. So my question is, and also the animation is awesome on that. But what actually led to the creation of that series?
So that was Justin Polk. He actually created the series or whatever. He has a company called Invisible, and it's basically a collective of Black directors. And I was one of those directors, and they don't have many animation directors. So this was an idea that he had. He took it to MLB. They were really excited about it. And he asked me if I'd want to direct the animation. And so, I jumped on the opportunity because that's it's right up my alley. And I like being able to do stuff like that because we do a lot of stuff that's sometimes a little socially irresponsible or whatever. You know what I mean? So I like to be able to also do these kind of stories because they're important stories that need to be told, and I think they help to push the culture forward and actually. And the other thing is I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it good. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't want to compromise, certain things that I see happening a lot in animation. Like for example, our features. Like a lot of times you see like, our noses start getting a little smaller, our lips start getting smaller, and then or the characters a little lighter. And they don't capture a lot of those like nuances in the way we walk, the way we talk, the way we dress. And and the other thing is I wanted to make sure that we were able to do something like really cinematic. So so I'm pushing the camera angles and like borrowing some stuff from anime that I really love, and with the compositions and the staging and just trying to make it feel like give it the energy and the just this dope cinematic feel for people that are young, right? And also giving it a nostalgia, you know what I mean? So there was a lot of thought put into like the color palettes that we used that were a little bit muted, right? So it felt a little old school. And then we used like some really, like black shadow treatments with these like heavy, thick black lines, right? That gave the characters more weight. And it also gave the stories a lot of weight because we were telling some, some pretty serious stories. So that was fun to me, and it was challenging, and it was also just I felt like it was just important stories need to be told. Like I didn't know like Mamie Peanut Johnson. I'm sorry, Mamie Peanut Johnson. Who knew she played in a male? Like a lot of people didn't know that. You know what I mean? And and I didn't know it until we did this series. So that's why I'm like, yo, this is important. Like people need to know about this.
This is that draw of having our history actually told, beyond just one stinking month. Like we contributed so much
more than just slavery, by the way. Like we were here for a reason. It wasn't just sitting in a corner somewhere waiting to be told what's I'm about to get off. I'm gonna get off my stand.
Let's just say 90% of what you use and see every day we were involved with. So BZ the voice. He says, when casting for projects, do you use casting directors only, or are you open to freelance submissions? BZ's want some action. That's my man.
Yeah, no, we're open. We're open to freelancers, and and I mean this goes for anybody, like for artists, storyboard artists, character designers, animators, actors. You know what I'm saying? Casting directors, like wherever you are, let's connect because we're just starting out, right? So we're trying to lay down the groundwork for something much bigger. But as we begin to expand, we want to have a Rolodex of talent that we can go to for the work in the future.
Baby,
looks like we're on our way.
Hey, hi. I have a reel if you're ever interested. No, I'm not that. I refuse.
I'm working on a reel. I'm already doing 2 little projects, and I'm definitely open for more.
Actually, I'm an audio engineer. I help people with their reels.
It's all
put
coming
together
together.
A great team.
It's all coming together.
We're all here together. We're in this together, team.
They do not call me Chris Fury for nothing. It's what I do. You've worked on The Last OG. You've worked on the Jellies.
You know what's funny? You just mentioned The Last OG. Okay, so this is weird. Tracey is blowing up my phone, I'm going to call him while you're here. Just give me a second. I just need to tell him.
Shut up.
Tell him we want some pranks.
Hey.
Yo,
Yo.
I'm in the studio right now.
We got Tracey.
Okay.
Exactly like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson's mother heard him sing and she started crying and say, "You sound just like my son." But his manager, they have this animated show for black kids.
Okay.
This is great. You got, look, for black kids, look. This is the show.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I want to send it to you, but I'm not sending it directly to you.
All right.
I'm going to send that to your agent.
All right.
To see it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Send it to me. Let's talk about it.
Listen, when you get on the phone, you got to give her the information and send it to her.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Good, darling. Here.
We got Tracey Morgan.
Hey Carl, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
Wonderful. So if you go to Boo TV on YouTube, that's J as in Johnny, O as in Oscar, O as in Oscar, L as in Larry, and S TV.
Okay. I'll do that.
That's where you can find the animated series that we've been working on. We've been developing with our partners.
Hold on. Okay. Yes, I definitely.
So it's an anime.
We got Tracey Morgan on the line.
I was like, you picked up that phone
It's
for Tracey. You're not getting off
hilarious.
that phone for at least 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I love that's his energy in real life.
No, Tracey
You know
Morgan
what?
is Tracey Morgan.
Tracy
That's
Morgan
not a
is
joke.
that is not an act. Tracy
It's
Morgan is
not.
exactly who you think he
So,
sounds
ladies and
like he does
gentlemen,
on stage.
You got an exclusive here. Yo, we on our way, mama. We on our way.
Ew. You know what this was?
Like I said, nothing but illustrious guests on this show.
Yes.
Somehow we
guess.
ended up with Tracey Morgan. What?
This was
Yes,
you
I
missed
don't know
2
how.
calls from your grandmama, so you call her back,
Mhm.
and now she putting you on with the mother of the church. You gotta talk to her.
Yeah, right. G Black was like, bro, did that just happen? I'm like, yes,
Oh,
just happened.
hey, come on, you know, Will, if you miss 2 calls from grandma, that's at least a 6-hour conversation.
Yeah.
Follow with a prayer at the end.
Yo, this was
Baby, it sounds like you ain't been eating.
not the baby. You ain't been eating.
Excuse me,
That's
grandma.
hilarious.
You sound
That is
hungry.
hilarious.
You
That
sound
is
like you're
hilarious.
hungry.
You stupid. Y'all stupid. Not
So for the new season, we're gonna have to reach out to Tracey Morgan.
Ooh, and Meg. Maybe Meg. Maybe.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, I Meg
She's
comes
an
on,
anime fan, so why not? Let's do it.
Hey, I gotta go do some push-ups.
I gotta do squats. What you talking about? Push-ups.
Push up. I just need a
I just
whole
gotta
body
sit behind the
transplant.
desk. I'm just
I
sitting
need to go-
behind the desk. I'm not.
I need to go do some push-ups. I need to go run a mile, and
I need a time machine.
A time machine.
This is definitely a clip. It's definitely a clip.
I
gonna
said,
be
hey,
fun.
that'll be
You
good.
ain't got to call them back. We know it's all right. You good? You good, boo? You good? You ain't got to call them back.
I ain't gonna lie. That'll probably be the one time I gotta force myself to speak if we do get Meg. I'll be sitting there staring. I'll just be sitting there staring. I gotta-
G Black is the man.
Hey, hi.
Sorry about this.
No, you're good. Hi, how are you?
You don't realize it, but you just gave me gold just now.
It's
I
fine.
didn't know it was going to be like a whole thing, and he called me so many times. I'm like, all right, let me take this because
Now I'm very respectfully. You know you picked up that phone for the wrong one. You knew you was going to be on that phone for at least 15, 20 minutes. With all due respect.
No, you know, sometimes Tracey will call me and he'll be like, yo, you ever been to this restaurant? And I'm like, oh, good, period.
Oh man,
You know, so I never know.
this has definitely been. This has been the pinnacle for this season.
It's been fun.
I'm not gonna lie. That I'm talking to one of the dopest animators out here who's worked on some of the best shows. and Tracy Morgan inadvertently
just calls him and just immediately goes into hey, check that out.
Always a good time. Always a good time here on Blerd's.
Thank you, Black Jesus.
Right.
No, that's my OG, man.
Oh man, it's funny. Like now, people that was not set up, I was asking you. I was just mentioning the last OG, and it just so happens.
This happens.
What you calling? I
call them and they will come.
Won't he do it?
Won't he do it? Oh my God! So, how do you go forward? You just move it. You press forward. Yeah. So you worked on the last OG. Oh, pause. Wait for it.
You wait for another call.
It's Tracy. Get him on the line and tell him, like, you know what? I'll send you the link. You just send the link to him, tell him to jump on. But you've worked on, so not only were you a co-producer on these shows and everything, but you also did the voice of Thugnificent and the Booty Warrior.
You got some words of welcome for all this Thugnificence? Let's get it.
That line, I found myself saying at least multiple times a day. That's right, bask in it.
Bask in it, nigga. It's glorious. Wait, your other half says she was nervous. You never know what Tracy will say. Love, I'm going to tell you, whatever Tracy was going to say, it was going to be definitely gold. I'm just
let the tape rock. Just let the tape rock.
Just let them roll with it.
You understand? Like I heard, because we're in the same house, so like I heard her feet, like as she was running to the door to tell me to get off the phone or to press mute, because we don't know what he's going to say.
Right.
That's what I was more afraid of.
Oh my God! But like I said, you did the voice of Thugnificent. Yeah. And the Booty Warrior. Now, these are two of the most recognized characters besides the core characters of the Boondocks. Did you? How did you end up doing Thugnificent?
Bro,
like
I gotta know that story.
It's a weird. I mean, it's not that weird of a story, but it just kind of happened on accident, really. So usually because we have like all these like big actors, I end up doing temp lines, right? Like in the show. So I end up temping just about everything until we can actually get these people in the studio. Now, in this case, we reached out to Ludacris a long time before we started animating anything, before we put anything together. We reached out to Luda and we asked him if he would play this role. And he said he would do it if I designed his album cover. So I'm like, cool. So I'm calling Luda, trying to get some information on. I don't know what the album is. I don't know what the concept is or anything. So I'm calling him. He's not answering the phone. So I blocked my number one time and I called him and he answered the phone. And I was like, yo. I was like, this is Carl. He was like, hey man, I usually don't answer calls from like unknown numbers. And I'm like, but you did.
But you did. And yet here we are.
Shaking my head, Christopher, shaking my head.
So he's like, I got the time, man. I got to go. So I'm like, all right, man, cool. So long story short, I never was able to get him on the phone. So I didn't know what to draw. So I didn't do anything. So it comes time for us to record him. And he goes, man, y'all ain't never do my album cover. I'm like, bruh, are you serious?
I blink in all of my blackness. Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
No, you don't understand. I got Boondock stories for days, man. But
let's get into them.
Go ahead.
So he I was like, he decided not to do the role, and my voice was already in it, and so everyone kind of liked it when they saw the animatic, and you know what I mean. So I was just like, all right, I'll do it. And to be honest, I didn't even like what I did, but I knew at the time it was like we already passed like the last date of the last date of the last date to get someone else to do it. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had no choice but actually to record it at that moment, and it just became it just stuck, man.
Gold.
It is gold. Boondocks literally. There were conversations. Like I was reading Boondocks when it was in the Source magazine. So I knew what the Boondocks were all about, but seeing it, like actually watching it, was creating a whole. I'm like, there's no way they put that. Oh,
and and the boundaries that y'all got to push. Like,
Hold my beer.
yeah, the boundaries y'all got to push was
at that point I was in. I was
yeah,
like, I am all in. Like, they're not gonna put that on Cartoon Network.
Like where else did y'all have? Like, I want to know whose idea, because we're pushing boundaries. Like, how did y'all get Snoop Dogg? How did y'all get Mac 10? How did y'all get
Jackson?
Sam Jack.
How did y'all get
Sam Jack?
Yeah.
Charlie Murphy?
How did y'all convince these people to like, hey, come on the Boondocks, we'll give you a character? How did y'all? I mean, I gotta know that. How did y'all rope them into it? I guess is the best way I could ask that question.
I don't know, man. I think you know, I mean, look, I felt like we did mean something to the culture, right? So you know what I mean? Like, they, you know, people, even before the show launched, I mean, people were aware of the comic strip, and you know, it was an important thing for the culture. So a lot of people just wanted to be a part of it, just to be a part of it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, so it wasn't hard to get a lot of people. And Aaron had some relationships also with like Sam Jackson, and I think we got Snoop through DJ Pooh, actually.
Okay.
DJ Pooh, he was one of the writers on the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. It was just one of those things, man. Especially after the first season, it was like, you know, everybody just wanted to come play. You know what I mean? And so, you know, we had Ghostface, and I mean, we had Quincy Jones
on there. Yeah.
Crazy. It's so crazy. But yeah, I just think it was really for the love, man, and wanting to support this Black animated show that was really speaking to the culture in an honest way, you know.
Yeah, because that was, I think for the longest time, correct me if I'm wrong, the Boondocks was probably the best representation of Black animation at the time in its own entity, because I can't think of another. It was that was really running alongside you guys at that time.
It was because it literally spoke on issues that we were dealing with and putting it almost in a satirical way, and that was the beauty of the comic strip. You know, so when they went straight to animation, I'm like, yeah, there's no way they.
But I just love how y'all incorporate certain things. Like, how did y'all incorporate the fight?
The Luther?
The Luther was one. The movie theater was still one of my favorites because it's basically Chinese Connection. I'm like, how did y'all get the fight scene from Chinese Connection into the movie theater between Ruckus and Huey?
Bro. You know that I got to give credit to Sung Kim. I don't know if you know who Sung Kim is, but like you just got Google him. And you'll see his work. He's like one of the best artists I've ever seen in my life. Like, he's an incredible director, incredible animator, characters. Like, he's just amazing. And he boarded that sequence that you're talking about. But you know, we're fans of kung fu movies and all the Shaw Brothers stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so you saw the opening like we did with Stick Man. So it was like, you know, I don't know, man. It was really, the show was. I mean, look, a lot of people that were working on that show, it was their first time working in television. You know, so we had we had this this really mixed bag of unique people that had very specific experiences, and we gelled, with the type of things that we found funny and the stuff that we wanted to say and do. We had talented writers like Rodney Barnes and Yamara Taylor, and people that are doing like really big things now. But like in the beginning, we were just having fun, man. Like, it was really, on the art side and on the writing side. And even in the voiceover booth, that's another thing. I just want to real quick. I want to say, our voiceover actors were amazing. Like, we can't even take full credit for all of the comedians in the show because there's a lot of stuff, because we would give them room to improv. All of them. Gary Anthony Williams, Stephen Darborough, the late John Witherspoon, Regina King. They obviously had scripts, but when they went off page and they owned these characters in their own way, Granddad was really John Witherspoon.
Yeah.
And so it was fun, man.
So, Black Dynamite. I'm sorry, that song stays in my head. Like, that's why it ended up being part of the promo. I'm like, the song stays in my head.
It does.
working with that entire cast and crew. You're probably just like, I'm in the room with these people that did a cult classic film.
Yeah.
Because let's face it, that movie, it didn't get to push like most movies.
Right.
You know, it got internet push. It got internet push. Like it started with the Anaconda Malt Liquor commercial. He was like, yo, where did they get these commercials from? How did these happen? You know, and they were just like, what movie? Next, you know, it was wildfire. It's like Snakes on the Plane. Snakes on the Plane should not have been as popular as it was, but because of leaks
and cult status will keep Phasing alive.
It does. So working with people like Michael Jai White and a host of others, how did that feel when you're in that room and you're helping write these things and you're helping produce these things and you're just like, how did you feel like, man, I'm here?
I mean, well, let me tell you how it came about first, because I first copied. Well, I got a bootleg version of the movie before it came out.
Many of us did.
Well, what happened was Cedric Yarborough. You know, he played Chocolate Giddy Up in the movie, so he had a director's cut, and so he shared it with me, and I was like, wow, like this is really, really crazy. And I thought to myself, this will make a really dope animated series, right? And I swear to you, cut to maybe 2 to 3 weeks later, I get a call from my manager. He's like, hey, have you he said, I got somebody that wants to meet you. It's this production company. They did this movie Black Dynamite, and they want to talk to you about doing something animated with it. I'm like, this is crazy. So I met with them, and so they could show me the movie, and I pretended like I saw it for the first time. You know, and then afterwards they were like, you know, do you think you could come up with a take? And I'm like, I mean, I'll have a take in a couple of days. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, worked on the take, you know, and got with my partner Brian Ash, who I've been working with since forever. And took it to Adult Swim, and you know, we pitched the show. They bought it in the room, and we went off to do a pilot. Now, when we started working on it, I met Mike. It's funny because I don't know if you saw the Trouble on Puppet Street pilot, the original pilot.
Yes.
So this is like, well, actually, I worked with Mike before as Bushido Brown on the Boondocks, but you know, this is different because, like, you know, this was his brainchild, right? So now it's expanding into this animated series, and you know, the humor. There's some things that, like, we can't rely on the bad filmmaking jokes that they did in the movie, and some of those nuances that they were able to pull off in the movie we couldn't do in animation. So, you know, I was telling him, like, it's going to be consistent, but it's going to be a little different, right? And so he was like, "Cool, I trust you." But then we got in the booth, and I remember that you know, it was a couple of things that we battled on, but there was this one line in particular where Black Dynamite says, "Dennis Flynn, I never told nobody this, but I used to be a children." And Mike, when I say we stopped recording for about an hour and a half, while me and Mike went back and forth about this line, because he was like, he sounds stupid. Why would he say children? It's a child. He would say, "I used to be a child." And I'm like, Mike, I know, but it's funny.
It's funny. It's funnier. It's like you just got.
And I'm arguing with this guy that can literally kick my throat out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so I'm like, okay. I was like, I'll tell you what, just trust me. I said, listen, let's record it both ways. If it doesn't work, the way I want to do it, we'll do it your way. But we played it for people, and every single time that line came up, people started cracking up. And so I remember after it aired, he told me, he was like, "You was right," and he started trusting me a little more. And and to be honest, I wasn't convinced that Mike even knew this was a comedy because he played the character so straight. Yeah. And so I'm
the branches from the leaves.
So there would be moments where, like, say for example, anytime when like Black Dynamite was down and out, or like he like even with the IRS, you know what I'm saying, where Mike had this thing where he was like, "I don't want to see Black Dynamite down and out," and I said, "That's why we do it." Because people don't want to see it, so you're going to root for him to go, get out of that situation. But I think he was. That's the brilliance of what he brought to the screen. Is he was so connected to the character, right, in a real way. Yeah. That I'll tell you this quick story, real quick. So we're at Comic-Con in New York, right? And I remember they took us out. They took us the back way. We're about to do a panel. And so we're in this elevator that it opens up on both sides. So Mike gets in the elevator, and I remember we're facing this way. The door opens in the back, and he goes,
"Hey yo!"
I'm like, "Yo, this is not Into the Dragon, bro." The worst that happens is a nigga dressed up like Princess Leia might attack you, but other than that, you safe, bro. All right.
Yo,
he's really that guy.
Oh my God! Cinematic assassin can't take it. It was like he can't take it.
I'm just imagining this man almost taking off the head of some janitor, just doing his damn job.
I got one worse than that. Will I have him in full Black Dynamite with the suey, just as he's doing it, just as you do, you can just suey.
Yo, it was crazy because at Comic-Con before we came out, we just heard a sea of people going, sorry. And Mike was like, what are they saying? I'm like, that's your call. So you gotta go out there and say it back.
Oh my God. So there's definitely some magic behind the scenes.
It was fun, man.
Oh my God.
And I'll just say Kim Whitley and Tommy Davidson.
How did you get work done?
How do y'all keep a straight face?
How did you get work done?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the work.
We didn't. I'll tell you one thing. Because there was one time we tried to get all the actors together and record, because sometimes you can record them, like a half
in a round.
Like a half, right?
Yeah.
So that didn't work for us.
No.
Because we had Orlando. I think it was Orlando. If I remember correctly, it was like Orlando Jones, Arsenio Hall.
Boy.
It was Michael Jai White. It was Deborah Wilson.
Oh Lord.
Boy.
Right.
All in the same room. You're not getting done.
You ain't getting nothing done.
And it was just like Kim Whitley, Tommy Davidson. And it was a madhouse. Like I was trying my best to direct, but I was also laughing at the same time. It was just a mess, and I was like, we can't do this anymore.
Y'all probably did more laughing than recording.
Jesus.
So
there was no script at that point.
Deborah Wilson was in there flashing everybody. She's lifting up her shirt. At one point, like Kristen Powell was on the ground, like trying to take a nap, and she jumped on top of him. I'm like, oh my God. Can we just record this episode, please?
That would be a fly on the wall. Right. That's one of the things you're like, yeah, I'm gonna be home late. And like, why are you so happy if you knew the work day I had?
And Deborah is like one of the most talented people I've ever worked with in the world. But like she's a character, man. When I first met her, she gave me a hug for like 10 minutes. And she told me in my ear, she was like, "What's your name, brother?" And I was like, Carl Jones. She's like, "My demonologist. His name is Carl, so I'm gonna remember that. So listen." It's like, your demonologist. I don't even know what that is. Number one.
Am I okay right now?
My demonologist.
Like, how did
you have a demonologist? Why?
Like you said, there's so many questions.
Are you for or against
your grip is loosening as you're thinking. You're like, what is happening right now?
Oh man,
I wasn't expecting all of this.
But
like, there's a flood of questions I need to know.
But the actors and the comedians, they brought those characters out, and I think that, similar to the Boondocks, is what makes it so memorable. Not just because of the lines and the scenes, but just the actual Black talent behind it, which is. Which again, we have, all of us on this panel have said repeatedly, that's what's actually missing in today's media, which of course you and Martian Blueberry are attempting to fill that void. But it's that I always tell people this: you have a great Black series for one of three reasons. Number one, There's a favorite character that you love. There's lines you can reference, and you can rewatch the series from front to end, and it doesn't get old.
Oh, I know what your name is.
I call it Chris Hansen. You know, DJ Blerd. You know, like I think it was either last year, maybe it was maybe about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. It was during the pandemic, and DJ Blerd called me, and he was like, "Yo, I got Chris Hansen coming to do an interview. So I need you." He's like, "I need you to record something during the Booty War." I'm like, "Man, I'm not." He's like, "Bro, please do it." So I'm like, all right. I don't know what I'm gonna say, but I said something about, you know, I'm out of jail now, and it's good to see you, Chris Hansen. And, you know, and I would like to meet up with you again. And he didn't find it very funny. Blerd,
I can imagine.
You can search it on YouTube, and like Blerd played it for him, and you can see Chris Hansen's face, like he was he was a little pissed off and disturbed.
Hey, Chris Hansen.
Oh my God, he thought Felice Johnson was coming to see you. Yo, so
I think he had just lost his job, and I was like, "I don't got a job. You don't got a job."
Hey yo.
Wait. I laughed too hard.
That's timing.
That is timing. That is. I think when you work around the talent that you had the blessing to work with, you match it or you get out the way.
Right.
And so let's talk about Martian Blueberry real quick. How did you say to yourself, is an animation studio is something you always wanted?
Yeah,
come later on down the line.
Well, you know, we just always had a problem with finding studios that knew how to handle the culture. You know, from the very beginning. You know, when I mean, look, some of the artists that we were using were overseas in Korea or Japan, so there was already a language barrier. Then the cultural barrier is even a whole nother thing, right? And a lot of the artists that we started out with were domestic, but they just didn't understand what we're doing. You know, because these characters and the jokes that we're telling, they gotta be, the visuals have to be right. Like, you know, so what would end up happening is I would act out almost the entire episode of every single show. You know what I mean? Because a Pimp Named Slickback, when you watch him and you see those nuances, the way he moves and the way he talks, that's because they recorded me on tape acting all this stuff out. You know, so and that's just because most of the
say it together.
Yeah, but that's because most of the studios they just didn't have enough. It just wasn't enough of us in these studios to really understand it, right? Okay. So it's always been a need, and you know, and I've been in the game. It's been like 18 years, man. So I felt like, you know, I've been to enough studios to know how they run and understand, you know what I'm saying, like the needs of the studio. But then also we have a unique opportunity because I've connected with so many Black artists around the world, and here's an opportunity to bring them all together to be able to produce stuff at the level of authenticity that we need, right? But I just want to make it clear, like, so Martian Blueberry is strictly, you know, an animation production service company. So we're not actually creating original content out of Martian Blueberry. We're just providing services for people that are, you know what I'm saying, that need animation. But that is
you're the Black American version of what you were doing overseas. You're domestic.
Right. Exactly. I tell you, because you know, when we first did the Boondocks, if you notice in the show, Huey never ever smiles. You'll never find one frame where Huey smiles, but that was done intentionally. We didn't want him to smile. But when the boards were coming back, when we were looking at storyboards, they had Huey smiling all over the place. And no matter how many times we told them, they still would do it, right? And so one day we had a Zoom with the studio in Korea, and they said, you know, look, we just don't understand because he's a kid. Like, how come he's not smiling? And so Aaron said Malcolm X, and they went, oh. But that's the only way that they understood the mindset of Huey. And so And that's just someone who is iconic like Malcolm X. So you think about some of these other characters we have in this world, they have no idea who any of these people really are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
This is one of these things, and we talk about it on this platform plenty of times, where we have to be the voice in the room. We have to build that table so we all can eat. There's room for us all, but our stories need to be told, and there's people out here, there's people of color, people POC creatives who don't get seen, who don't get heard, have a massive amount of talent, but they don't have the doors to kick open. So we have to build that door. We have to bust that door open and let them see, hey, you missing out here. And when you have stuff like Black Dynamite, the Boondocks, the Jellies, these are products that we adhere to and we understand, and this is why these shows were hits, and when they're like I said, when we seen the Boondocks and seen where it was going, we were like, I think we're here now. Like we can get away with some stuff.
When you saw Samuel L. Jackson and Charlie Murphy having a conversation, you did not see two white characters. You literally saw Charlie Murphy and Samuel L. Jackson having a conversation.
To see this, even see them, who was it? See Charlie Murphy, to see them with cornrows, and I'm just like, but this is Charlie Murphy and Samuel Jackson. That's what makes it so funny.
Yeah.
It's just it's just those scenes where I don't know which writer I want to give credit to for how did y'all make one sentence an entire episode? And I'm talking about the sentence, the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. How did y'all make that one? I don't know which. You may know the writer that came up with that, but that was brilliant.
That's the genius of Aaron Mcgruder, man. Like he, if you think about it, like just looking at the comic strip, he did politics in a way that no one else did.
Right.
You know what I mean? The way he handled politics from our perspective. You know what I mean? And so that was all his idea, his genius, and honestly, I was, especially the first season, I was there more like a student. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning from his observation of the world and just like how he tackles some of this like really delicate subject matter. But I'll tell you another huge, and Rodney Barnes, I got to give credit to also. He most of that ruckus stuff came from Rodney. You know what I mean? Like I think it's a lot of ruckus that lives in Rodney. But I'll say the other thing that influenced a lot of what we were doing, man, is one is the Chappelle show. Chappelle show came out, and we were like, "Whoa!" Like, yo, like, yo. They were doing shit on a whole nother level outside of politics, and it was way more pop culture. And so we started incorporating more of that into the show, and honestly, around that time, like. World Star Hip Hop it came out, and some of these other like, that became like a useful tool for us, like like Letary and Milton, that whole idea, came from, what I'm saying, like World Star Hip Hop. The same way with you remember the school teacher that was saying the N-word.
Oh yeah.
There was a lot of stuff that we were. I think we were so into, we kept our finger on the pulse using like these outlets, you know what I mean? Being in social media and on the internet, and you know what I'm saying, and making sure the show was reflective of everything that popular culture was fucking with at the time. The only problem is it took like 2 years to complete a show.
So when we talk about shows like this, that hit those hot button topics and everything, was there a moment where you like, I think we might have crossed that line?
Yeah.
I gotta guess.
Say it, Kier.
Was it the BET episode?
Oh wow!
Read my mind.
There was many times where I feel like, what it was. I think there was different levels to crossing a line. Right. The first time that we really crossed the line that I realized, because you gotta understand, first of all, we're making this show in such an incubated way and in an isolated way, right? Where we're just like, you know, we're in this world ourselves for like 2 years and no one's seen anything, right? So you don't really know where that line is anymore. You kind of lose, you know what I mean? Like you lose perspective in terms of like how people are going to react or relate to certain things. And I'll tell you, when we did the Martin Luther King episode, and I remember Aaron and I we were watching the news, and it came on the news, and we were like, "Yo,
I'm not gonna lie. I thought that would be the one that I thought between that one and Tyler Perry. I thought that was the one that was going to do y'all in.
Well, no. So Tyler Perry that's when. We really caught, but you know, it's funny, man, because I say this. So Gary Anthony Williams, who you know plays Uncle Ruckus, he also auditioned for a Tyler Perry movie or a TV show, and so we got a lot of inside information from Gary about what the process was like. And so this is why I think Tyler got so mad, because from what I heard, he felt like there was some snitches in his camp. Because we knew certain details that we wasn't supposed to know, like that prayer circle. You know what I'm saying? And when he called Granddad to the office because he recorded those prayers and saw that he was focused on the girl's breast next to him, that is something very similar to what happened to Gary Anthony Williams. Because, you know what I mean? And so those kind of details, only people that are close to Tyler maybe would know. So anyways, it was that was the one where the network, they warned us ahead of time, honestly, because originally he looked just like Tyler Perry and his name was Tyler Perry. And they were like, you can't do that. And then so we found out Tyler's real name. And then we tried to sneak that into the episode, and it got by for about a month. And then they found out. So the network, they called us and was like, "Yo, no bullshit. Like, stop. Like, you can't. Like, you can't look like him. You can't use his name. You can't. Nothing Tyler Perry related at all." So we named him Winston Jerome. We made him look different. And when it aired, he still got angry. and he literally called the network himself. And he said, if that ever airs again, it's going to be a problem. Because mind you, our parent company is Turner. Right? And he's going to Meet the Browns. And, you know what I'm saying? And he owned Turner at that point. So they were like, no problem, Mr. Perry. That's
but he had all them shows running on TBS at the time, so yeah, he had juice. So you're right. So
you know,
like if you had to be a black man with power in Hollywood, I guess that was the mark right there.
but you're right though. I remember when the MLK episode came out, and I'm like, Fox News never reports anything on black animation.
Nothing.
But that particular episode,
they found that one though.
They found that one and brought that up. It's like
it still gets talked about.
Tonight, in the year 2023 of our Lord, it's talked about. We still know.
But no, go ahead.
No, I was just that just reminded me. You know, when I was in Atlanta one time, and Michael Jai White, you know, he works with Tyler Perry all the time. So he was on set, and he was like, "Yo, you should come by the." He said, "Matter of fact, don't come by the set." He said Tyler is actually still mad about that shit. He said, "He'll come by the set." I was like, "All right."
You know, I'm thinking about the timing of Atlanta going off of air.
When they aired the episode.
Oh, baby,
that episode got aired.
Baby.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you, Tyler and Oprah Winfrey were the two. Like, those are the two people you can't touch. Like when we had originally, you know, Oprah was kidnapped in the episode, and we got a call from way up high at Sony. I don't even know how they knew about it. You know what I'm saying? And they were like, "You cannot kidnap Oprah. As a matter of fact, you can't even show Oprah in the show." So if you notice, when Ed and Rummy they're trying to locate Oprah at the bookstore, you never see her.
Yeah.
had to kidnap Maya Angelou instead because
Hey yo,
it was nuts.
I always wondered about that because you're right. Oprah was never seen, and I always wondered that part.
I'm like, all right, now she got too much money. She ain't messing with y'all like that. Ain't no way I'm gonna get away with that one.
So think about Chappelle. Think about the Chappelle show when he did that Oprah sketch. You didn't see Oprah.
No, that's true.
Ooh, yeah,
that is very true.
Mama don't play.
Wild compromise,
right? So we know there's obviously a line in some form of Black Hollywood, but has there been people in Black Hollywood that you guys have satired and they were just like, you know what?
Yo, that was fun.
That was funny, right? That was
funny.
That's like on between Black Dynamite, between the Boondocks, and any other projects. Has there been one that just said, you know what? I'm gonna let you have that one.
Yeah, y'all got me. Y'all got me good.
So that was funny.
I think the Michael Jackson episode we did on Black Dynamite, that so that story. So originally we did the Trouble on Puppet Street as the pilot, and then Adult Swim. I actually felt like it was just too short, man. Like, you know, it didn't give us enough time to really get to know the characters, and there was so much that was happening in the plot. I was just like, yo, I think we need to do we need to do a longer show. Even if this is the pilot, I feel like the show should be 22 minutes. And so we had a meeting with Adult Swim and Mike Lazo. He agreed. He said, as a matter of fact, I think you guys should write another pilot. So me and Brian actually worked together to write the second pilot, which was the Michael Jackson episode. Jackson 5, Across Your Eyes was the name of it. So the episode kind of came about because, you know, we were talking, we were like, yo, like what if Joe Jackson just got a bad rap? Like, what if he wasn't the abusive one in the family? Like, what if it was Michael? And so we started going down this road, and it just started to flesh out, right? Now, in the episode, originally, Michael Jackson impregnated Cream Corn with 1 million alien babies. And that's where the network drew the line.
Dang.
And I'm gonna tell you, Adult Swim has let us do a lot of shit. That was the one time where they were like, Michael Jackson cannot impregnate Cream Corn.
Just saying that line.
Yeah, saying that line was just.
Yeah,
it's a touch too hard, sir. Dial it back just a little.
Just right. But we were also kind of like, I was a little concerned because I'm like, it's Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. You know, I'm thinking there's some things in place where like Oprah, where you can't touch Michael, but we did it and we didn't really receive any backlash. As a matter of fact, like that episode ended up being the most popular episode, and people really loved that one the most, from what I hear. You know?
So Tafari TV asked, because Most Def did the voice of Gangstalicious. He says, was there any heat behind Gangstalicious, the Gangstalicious arc?
Man, we had two rappers ask us who that was supposed to be. You know, I'm not saying no names. One of them, I remember it was funny because one of them we were actually recorded, and like you know, he pulled the chair up to me real close and was like, "Oh, I'm not even gonna do his voice because he was like, who is that supposed to be, sir?" And I was like, no one in particular, bro. He was like, all right.
I knew it was bad because at the beginning of that episode, you see Eric was like, look, they don't pay me enough for security. I don't walk around in security. If you feel some type of way, it wasn't about you. You just know I ain't got static with nobody. I was like, this is a good episode.
So you know what's funny? You know what's funny though? So when Most first recorded the episode, because you know it was Most Def, right?
Yeah.
He didn't know that the character was gay until the second episode. So because when the next time he came in and we played it for him, and he, because he was watching it on the screen, and he was like, "Oh, so the character is gay." Word. He's like, "I didn't know that." He's like, all right, come on, let's do it. And so we went
oh man, there are so many. You've already given us like a ton of gems from the Boondocks day, from Black Dynamite days. Working with Tyler, the creator, and telling these stories about the Negro women baseball leagues. These are great, by the way. Working with Meg the Stallion, you know, who is, and yes, we're Team Meg over here. It's okay, people. It's all right. You know, like this sister is doing some things.
Yeah.
And
how?
In how? Right. In so many ways. So many ways. I'm just saying. But see, Cinematic Assassin. I know I didn't mention her this episode now, did I?
But you're gonna try. You're gonna figure out a way to get that in there, right?
This is abusing privileges.
So Carl, what projects can you talk to us about that, you know, or what's a dream project that you would love to do?
A dream project,
because I mean you've done it all already.
I don't know if I'll say it. I had this idea. It's a weird idea, but I had this idea. I actually tried to take it to Jordan Peele's company because I thought it'd be interesting if you did a story about like what if Martin Luther King was a serial killer?
Yeah.
I'd like to see it.
Yo.
I'd like to see it.
Yo.
And that's not a knee-jerk. No, I need to see that.
We already had Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Like,
why not?
Well.
You know what?
We got Harriet Tubman Vampire Hunter. Like, let's do it.
Hey,
do it up.
Why not? You know, I'm just thinking like what happens when a guy who has really good intentions and tries to start a revolution in a very peaceful way, you know, reaches the end of his road, right? Like he's kind of like, you know, has to take matters in his own hands. And,
I tried to reach you with peace, but now I'm gonna reach you with Smith and Wesson.
But it's
you got Black History Dexter.
Right, exactly. But it's all like low key. But it's all like low key behind the scenes, like at night, like you know what I'm saying? Like he's dressed in all black and he's like taking out like Klan members and
you know what? Now that you bring it up, I've never seen Martin in a night shoot. I've never seen him in the nighttime.
I told y'all motherfuckers.
You're right.
I don't know.
Now you want to do
the thing about that is, imagine if Malcolm found out. If Malcolm must find out about that, it was like, really, Martin. You know, when I said by any means necessary, you could have just jumped on with this.
You know what, Malcolm? You're right. You was right all along. Mountaintop, and I dragged a couple of crackers off of it.
All right, Jordan Peele, you need to take this on now. Oh my God! Now that would be hilarious. That would be hilarious.
There's one project I would like to talk about though. So I started. You know, I experimented in the Web3 space last year. I don't know if you guys are up on NFTs, but you know, but I did. I launched this project called Bubble Goose Ballers, and you know, at first I was kind of against the whole NFT thing because I was just like, I don't understand it. Like, why are people paying all this money for these like fucking JPEGs? You know, I don't understand it. It was like really, really weird to me, and I couldn't wrap my head around it for a while. I had known about it. But then I realized, like, you know, looking at some of the, you know, more successful projects that had real teams of people that were using the technology and the community building to actually grow brands and seed IP. You know, I thought it would be an interesting space to explore. Plus, I love that there's creative freedom and there's community wealth, which I think is really dope. Where because I like, you know, we did the Boondocks and all of this stuff that to me wouldn't have been successful if it wasn't for the fans. Like the fans, like, you know, you guys like really came out and got behind all of the stuff that we've done in a real way and made people take recognition of what we were doing, right? And I just feel like the dope thing about NFTs is, you know, the fans and the people that support the projects can also benefit from it financially, and you know, and they're right there with you for the you know, for the length of the journey that you're on as a brand or as an IP. You know, so I don't know, that seemed really interesting to me. So, you know, we launched this project, we sold out 10,000 NFTs in less than an hour, and we built this really strong community on Discord and using Twitter. And now we're you know, we're doing toys, we're doing clothing, we're setting up TV shows, you know, and it's all being done outside the studio network Hollywood model. You know what I mean? Now, in a perfect world, we would leverage the success and the metrics that we've gained through Web3 over into Hollywood and set up a TV. You know, when we do set up the TV show and the film, and we have way more leverage, we have way more stake. You know, there's a possibility of having some real ownership. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, so it was really a great experience, and we're still in the process of building a brand. But so if you're interested, like, check out Bubble Goose Ballers. Check out our Twitter page, and you can just Google us and you'll see, you know, what we're doing.
It's called Bubble Goose Ballers.
Yeah, and there's a little story behind that, because you know, this was actually a show I tried to set up at Adult Swim when Black Dynamite got canceled, right?
I was going to ask you about this too.
Yeah, but it's based on this character that I've been drawing in my sketchbook since I was a kid. And coming from Fayetteville, North Carolina, you know, growing up during the crack epidemic, like, everybody in my neighborhood, like, all the ballers were wearing Bubble Goose coats.
Goose coat. Yes.
Yeah, you know, the Bubble Goose coat was like, that was a status symbol. You know what I'm saying? If you had a Bubble Goose coat, you was doing it.
Yes.
So I used to draw all my characters with Bubble Goose coats, and then one day I decided to draw this goose with a Bubble Goose coat, and it just kind of stayed in my sketchbooks over the years, right? So when Black Dynamite got canceled, because, you know, I think it was just too controversial. It was literally after I did an interview with CNN talking about police brutality, and I got a call from the network. They're like, "That's not the kind of attention we want," and yada yada yada. That's a whole other thing. But they still wanted to work with me, so they asked me what else I had, and I was like, well, you know, I got this character I've been messing around with, Bubble Goose, and, you know, so I pitched it to them. They liked it, and they did a pilot deal with me, and so I started developing it. But we had some creative differences, because I wanted to do this. It was this weird, crazy pilot story where Bubble Goose and his friends were they were in line to get the new Yeezys, but the line was so long that they didn't want to wait that long, and they found this basically like a time machine, and they went too far in the future. They went too far in the future, and they landed in a world that was actually taken over by Kanye. So Kanye had put like TMZ in concentration camps. He was cutting off people's legs that weren't wearing Yeezys, and it was just like and I think I had this scene where they had to in order to get to Kanye and destroy him, they had to travel through Kim Kardashian's ass. It was like this crazy. And they
Good night.
No.
Not.
Oh my God!
Wow. Weird. This is a weird, crazy story. And they ran into like this asteroid storm, but it was like black basketball players and entertainers. So, anyways,
this is
Adult Swim. They didn't want to do it. And actually, I remember they told me, they were like, you know, we don't think Kanye's really relevant anymore. Back then, this was years ago. Right?
Okay. Little did they know.
So I was like, well, you know, I don't know, maybe this isn't the place to do it, right, or the time to do it. And so I got my Bubble Goose back, and I just kind of, you know, left the deal on the table. And and then you know, years later, when I started seeing what was happening in Web3, I reintroduced the character, you know, but as an NFT project, and now we're back on the road to really, you know what I'm saying, make it happen.
Nice. This is what I love about this Blerd community is, number one, the comments alone.
Wait, before
Tafari's on.
Tafari, I need you to stop. I need you to stop, Tafari.
I gotta bring this back up. So they had to serve a silicone slide. I had to bring that up. I would be doing your show and everyone a disservice if I did not bring this up. You know, I don't want to keep you. I really don't. But damn, these stories and this creation and all of it. You've won NAACP awards. You've won Peabody's. You put POCs in a place where they can be seen. And this is something I could truly, truly appreciate. And yeah, she agrees. She agrees. Since he'll be here all week, I'll be looking for you. Draymo, what's good on Draymo? But yeah, this whole Martian Blueberry and these connections, this is a unit that we need to see. This is the works that we need to see, the projects we need to hear about. Good Lord, I need to see this Martin Luther King thing now.
I need to see Martin Luther King. I need to see.
I need this now.
I need to see the untold Kanye story.
I need this. I need this so bad now. At this point, everything will make sense.
Well, you know, I did. There is something else I wanted to mention. It's kind of a big deal. It's something we've been working on putting together. And actually, I hadn't really talked a whole lot about. I don't know if I might have mentioned it like in maybe one other podcast, but we're putting this company together called Super Dope, right? And so basically the idea behind Super Dope was you know, it was also born out of this need, right? Which is, you know, right now the traditional Hollywood model is designed in a way that we don't really benefit to the way that we should, right? It's like we create an idea, we take it to Hollywood, they buy the idea from us, and they own it in perpetuity throughout the universe. This is actually in our contract. You know, so you can't even go to another planet and do this show if you wanted to. They own it everywhere.
Unless you go through Kim Kardashian's ass. Unless
there's a wormhole there. That's bad. Look,
I'm sorry. I impeded. I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry.
So we were looking for a way to, one, you know, have more ownership, right? Have more creative freedom, and actually create a company that works to curate more talented creatives, right? Who have stories that they want to tell, who are into animation, anime, you know, gaming, NFTs, comics, toys, the whole thing, right? So we partnered with, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Good Smile, but they're like an $8 billion company. So they're a toy company. They started out as a Japanese anime toy company. They're now in the US and China. You know, Bandai is probably like probably the biggest anime toy company. Yeah. But I would say that Good Smile is like a Rolls Royce, and Bandai is more like a Mercedes in terms of like
it makes sense.
The quality of toys. But so they're one of our partners and investors. Carmelo Anthony is one of our partners and investors. Who is also a super geek in a Blerd. That's another person you probably should have on here. But
well, let's get it done. Season 10, looking strong.
But so he's also one of our partners. There's a company, Ars Nova, who actually produced the original Black Dynamite movie. And we produced the animated series together too. They're also partners and investors. We have Eros Resmany, who is the founder of Discord. Right, and he also did a lot of stuff in Web3, in the Web3 space, in the gaming side. We got Nyan Shaw, who was one of the founders of, he was the SVP of PlayStation. You know what I'm saying? So he has tons of gaming connections and skills. And then we have Deanna Berkeley, who runs Alice and Olivia. She's one of the founders of Alice and Olivia, the clothing line, right? So the idea was that we would build this Voltron like super company with people that are experts in all these various different verticals, and then we would create IP and we would exploit all these different verticals before going to Hollywood and TV. I mean, going to TV.
Okay.
Right? So we're getting ready to launch this company next month, and you know, and we also, Carmelo and I are actually doing a podcast ourselves, you know, to help establish the brand and build what we're doing. So maybe there's even something we, you know, there's got to be something we can do together. But
always something we can do.
But this is something we're really excited about, and it's going to give us the opportunity to possibly see Black Dynamite again, possibly see some of these type of shows that we all love and Hollywood might be afraid to make. right? So this is going to be a big deal, man. And when you talk about like the next generation's Disney and Pixar, this is really it. This is what we're building with Super Dope.
I don't know if this is going to make you go over or not, but how do you protect what you're building? That's always a key thing for me. Like I'm trying to build this little community that nobody knows anything about, but my brain is always, okay, I know I'm here, nobody's paying me any attention, but what am I doing to protect it at this point in time? Like, you're massive, my guy. What do you do to protect your home base?
When you say, well, can you be more specific? What do you mean?
Like, this is just the paranoia in me, whatever. But I always envision like somebody coming in and being like, okay, well, we're gonna buy this one little piece, and that's the linchpin to your company, or we're just gonna flood the market with something that's really bad, so people aren't gonna want to see this this particular thing that you're putting out because they're tired of seeing it. Like, I think of things coming in at all angles. Like, I think this is too broad of a question.
Well, look, I think I understand. I think I understand to a degree. I think
good lawyers.
Exactly, good lawyers. Good lawyers.
I will say this. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, I mean, look, if you're gonna create something, right, and you're gonna have partners or other people involved, just make sure they're people that you really can trust, right? I mean, and I mean, I know that sounds kind of, but I mean, it's the truth. It's like you don't want people that just have money. You don't want people that just have connections. You want people that are actually supporting your entire vision and are playing the long game with you. They're not just looking for a come up or a quick dollar or looking for, you know, just an opportunity to work. Like, you gotta partner with people that are really in it for the long game. You know what I'm saying? And I think that just comes with time. Like, you got to find the right people enough. Because I've been in situations where I've jumped into partnerships or jumped into projects just because it seemed to make sense on paper. Right? But when it came down to it, and I got into situations with a network, and I needed my partners and my producers to come up and rock with me. They weren't there, you know, because they were incentivized to keep good face with the network, so they're not going to ride with me the way that somebody who is in it from here all the way to the end is going to ride. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, after I'm done doing this show, I still got to work with Netflix with my other shit. You know what I'm saying? And so you know, so I found myself with people who had to make these compromises and wouldn't necessarily be there in the way that I needed them to help protect, you know, the quality of what we're making. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I feel you. It's tough, you know, but I'd rather have people that are loyal. I'd rather have people that are loyal and teach them the skills and the trades that they need to be successful than have people that have the skills and the trades but ain't loyal at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Plus having the law officer fuck around and find out doesn't hurt either.
This is true. So before we get out of here, Carl, number one, brother.
Will had his hand up for like 2 seconds.
Go ahead, Will.
Sorry, I'm a nerd. I still raise my hand when I want to speak because I don't understand how podcasts work, apparently.
He did it so quick, I missed it.
Like, just as a creative, I just have like one question. Like, before the acclaim, was there ever a moment where you were like, I don't know if this is actually going to pop for real? And then before the acclaim really got going for you, was there a moment, was there a project where you were like, oh yeah, I'm that guy, like we about to get it?
Yeah, I mean, for a long time, I mean, look, I've always had these doubts in the back of my head before I even like got my foot in the door. But I tell you this, man, I was like selling mixtapes and bootleg movies in my neighborhood before I moved to Hollywood, right? And I mean, I was like the Nino Brown of the shit. Like, I was like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, you know what I mean? I had people working for me and shit. I was like, you know, I was doing my thing, right? And I remember I would come home at night and I would always go to my drawing board And I was drawing, I was writing ideas, and I was storing everything in like sketchbooks. So I had a big box, and I was like putting all my ideas in, and just kind of, even though I didn't know how I was going to make it into the business, I knew that I had a passion for it, and I figured that I don't know. I remember I actually said to my ex-wife in the kitchen one time that I said I don't know how it's going to happen, because I think she also was kind of feeling like you sit here you're drawing all this shit until like what is this? What's really happening? Like but at one point I remember I told her, I was like, I don't know how it's going to happen. I swear to you, I said, but I know I'm going to work on a hit Black animated show, and I just don't know how it's going to happen. And I'm in North Carolina at the time. I've never been to LA in my life. You know what I mean? So, and there was nobody around me that was doing anything remotely close to what I wanted to do. I didn't know anybody. And it's crazy, man. I mean, and I have to tell you guys that story another time, but like how that even came about was really, really crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless you have time. But
I mean,
time is
we asking you.
You, sir.
It's your show right now.
I ain't doing nothing but work tomorrow.
Right.
So I tell you this because I think this might also help inspire other people who are in the same situation, because I was at a dead end, man. Like I was at a place where I almost got killed over a Flubber movie. That was kind of the turning point for me. I know it sounds crazy, but let me explain. So I'm selling these bootleg movies, right? And I used to hustle like right behind the projects at this like little convenience store, right? And so I would be there like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, sometimes after the club lets out. So I'm out there and I'm doing my thing, right? There's a guy comes up, and I sold him a bad movie one night, and he's like, "Yo, man, I watched this with my daughter." The guy got up in the middle of the movie and he walked in front of the screen. "I want my money back." And I was like, "Well, when you go to watch a real movie, and a guy gets up and walks in front of the screen, you can't get your money back." And I thought that was pretty clever, but he didn't.
The logic is there.
It's like you're there.
Yeah.
So he leaves, and I say maybe 30, 40 minutes later, I see a car roll up with a bunch of dudes in it. And I see him in the passenger seat. He's got his right arm down and his left arm on the window, which is never a good sign. Like,
right.
So my spidey senses start tingling, and me and my boy Hood, I just like grabbed him. I was like, "Yo, let's get down." And as soon as it happened, shots ring out, right? Like you see, so he shot out like the glass of my van. I was standing like right in front of my van where I had all my movies and shit. So like he shot out the glass of the van, and my boy was like, "Yo, let's go get them niggas." And I'm like, "You go get them." Going home to draw pictures or some shit. So I went home, man. I remember I was sitting on the edge of the bed, like, yo, I gotta do something else. Like, this is crazy, and especially I'm not even selling drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is getting crazy.
Not over a $5 bootleg movie.
You said of all the things. Of all the things.
Yeah, this man some hot rounds after Flubber.
Dude, it's crazy. So
it ain't safe out here no more.
It ain't safe in these streets, man. So then I had it, the motion picture industry started like really like stopping, shutting down all the people selling movies and stuff. So I was having run-ins with the feds. It was just a whole thing. So eventually I just stopped, right? And I'll give you the short version of the story, but so I ran into a friend of a friend.
Or something.
I was randomly like in a Barnes and Noble, and I ran into a friend of mine that I used to see in a comic book shop. It was this black guy named Chris Walker, and he was a colorist. He was a comic book colorist, right? And I hadn't seen him in a while, and he was like, "Yo, what's been up?" I was in New York at this. I was in an art school, and I was doing my thing, and I moved back to North Carolina. He was like, and I'm like, "Oh, that's good." So we part ways, and I run into him again, like literally like 2 days later in the same Barnes and Noble. By the way, I'm in Barnes and Noble depressed because I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do with my life, and I'm sitting there drinking green tea and reading free books because I can't pay for them. So I'm like, so I run into him again, and he was like, "Yo, there must be a reason we keep running into each other." He was like, "Why don't you come by the crib?" Right? So I go by his house, and he and another friend of his were working together on a comic book. Right? And I don't know if you guys remember this, but it was a comic book called Arcanium. It was Chris Walker and LaShawn Thomas, right? Who's also doing his thing, right? And so me and LaShawn clicked, And literally a week later, LaShawn and Chris Walker have a fallout. So now me and LaShawn are rocking out. We chilling, we drawing together, whatever. And then he gets a call from some friends in New York that said that they, which one of them is actually Brian Ash, who I've been working with now. But so Brian Ash called and said, "Hey, I'm doing some stuff with Rockefeller," because he had just filmed like Paper Soldiers with Kevin Hart, and he did State Property. And he was like, "I'm working with Rockefeller. They just signed Beanie Siegel, and he wants to do a cartoon, right? You know." And LaShawn was so busy with the comic book, he was like, "Yo, do you want to take a stab?" And I was like, "Sure." So I started doing some designs, and I submitted them, right? And they were like, "Yo, we love them." They called us out to New York. We go to New York, and I'm like, "This is like my first opportunity to actually like get my foot in the door." So I'm in New York with like Beanie Siegel in the studio, and they got like, you know, like syrup everywhere and banana clips and Uzi shit on.
Like, this is why I stopped selling CDs.
I'm sitting there drawing and shit, like working on the cartoon. And then Beanie Siegel got arrested for attempted murder.
Oh.
Yeah, it was rough times in New York. Them days.
So it killed the cartoon, all puns intended. And I went back to North Carolina. I'm like, "Yo, this shit ain't gonna happen. Whatever. And then Brian Ash, I kept in touch with him, and he moved out to LA, and he was like, "Yo, you really need to come out here. That's where it's happening, right?" So, so eventually, I wasn't convinced that, because I'd never been to LA. So I'm like, I don't know about going to LA. I don't know anything about it. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I was doubting myself. I was like, I don't even know if I got what it takes to survive. You know what I mean? To survive there, much less actually get a job. I'm thinking everybody goes there who thinks they have talent. It's just, and so my ex-wife, she actually put in a 30-day notice at the house, and she didn't tell me until we had 2 weeks left. Because she knew I would stop her if she told me ahead of time. And she's like, "We're going to LA." And I'm like, "What are you doing?" Like, "Yo, are you serious?" So we got my mom to watch the kids. We had kids and everything, right? I'm like, "This is crazy." So we literally packed up everything, moved out to LA. Now, here's what's crazy. So so I get to LA, right? And I'm, Brian let us stay with him until we get on our feet. And it was a Saturday, and he doesn't, he observed the Sabbath. He was, he's Jewish, so he was like, "Here, you got the car." So I go on a drive, and I never been in LA before. I'm with my ex-wife, and I see Melrose. So I'm like, "Yo, let's go down Melrose." So I knew Melrose from Melrose, the TV show. Like, so we turned down Melrose, and I see this little black guy walking down the sidewalk with a Huey shirt on, and I'm like, "Yo, I think that's the guy that does the comics. I think that's Aaron Mcgruder."
Shut up.
Right? So I jump out the car.
Shut up.
I jump out the car, and I just start harassing him. and at the time, there's no Boondocks show. He was doing a comic strip, and I was like, "Yo, I draw and I write, and I did this thing with Rockefeller, and I just started kind of giving him my whole resume, which wasn't much, but. So we exchanged information. I sent him some of my work, and then he met with me, and he was like, "Yo," he said, "I got this comic strip." He said, "And I need some help on it because it's really like stressing me the fuck out. Can you help me with the comic strip?" I'm like, "Nigga, what?" So
appropriate response.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm like, yes, I take the job, and at the time, I had also like got a job at it was like an electronics store. It was Fry's Electronics in LA. And I didn't want him to know I had a regular job. So he would be calling me like, "Yo, where the strip at?" And I'm in the break room like, "It's coming, man. It's coming, man." I'll be out there in a second. So like I'm working on this shit at the same time as I'm doing this job. And it got to a point where I couldn't juggle both. And eventually he asked me, he's like, "Yo, what do you do? What else do you do?" And I had to come clean. And he was like, "Well, yo, you should work full time." So I started doing the comic strip full time. And then when the show got picked up, that's how I got onto the show. But I started out doing the comic strip. But literally, this happened. But I'm gonna tell you honestly, even before running into Aaron, I had this mental picture in my head, like I could see it, and I couldn't. I didn't know how it was gonna happen, but I could just see it, like I could taste it. Like it was. That's why I always tell people, man, visualization. It's not no bullshit. Like If you can, if you really, if you're vivid about where you want to be, and you can see yourself and know that this is what you're meant to do, and you put all of yourself into it, bro, that shouldn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Like the universe will just start moving pieces and putting things in the right order so that you can have those kind of opportunities, you know.
The fact that
pass the collection plate,
pass the collection plate,
pass the collection plate for that sermon.
Black Jesus is
for that lovely sermon, Brother Jones. We're gonna pass
like Black Jesus agrees.
It's hilarious.
He agrees, man. There, Candy B. What's going on, Candy?
Hey, Miss Candy.
It is. Tafari is on one tonight. I swear to God. So he said that bad business meeting Thugnificent had in season 3 was based on real life.
That's hilarious.
Yo, this has been the
stellar.
Yeah, this has been the episode for season 9. This has like just from Tracey Morgan to these stories.
Right? This is the finale.
This ain't the season. This should be the season finale.
This should be the season finale, but
we got like 3 more shows. This should be the season finale.
Man.
Like, yo, let's cut it off and then start it up again. So,
from love of the state property.
If I wouldn't have answered the phone, honestly, he would just kept calling. I knew I had to answer it. You know, it's like.
So, yo, tell Tracey you need to come on. So I'll just let him run. I'll run the boards. I'll let him do his thing.
Just hit record.
Just hit record. Just hit record and let him go.
So, Carl, my guy, this has been an amazing episode for us, and the stories you've told about how you started. How did the Flubber story is just going to stick with me?
Yeah,
and then it was just like, you know what? It ain't safe in these streets.
That needs to be on a show, animated or not. That needs to be on a show.
That is one of them things where you're just like, yo. So almost like lost my life talking all time. Like I was selling CDs, right, and it was Flubber. Wait, where's this going?
It almost sounds like it needs to be narrated by. It needs to be narrated by Cat Williams. It has that Cat Williams there. See what had happened. I was selling DVDs. Okay, now y'all know about selling DVDs. Y'all know where y'all get them from. There's no need to explain that. I was selling Flubber. Don't ask me why I was selling Flubber. Flubber was
no, that is not a drug name. That was the name of the movie. So one of those things. Yo, this
shout out to Melrose Place and Flubber. You know?
Yo, we definitely got to connect on some stuff, but this door is always open for you. Whatever the project is, whatever it is you want to chop it up about, this door is open. Drop me a line. I'm always here.
Oh man,
hell, I'll do a special episode because we're already at 2 days a week. Who knows?
I mean,
the way things are going right now.
Stories behind the recordings. You said you had all of them in a room and tried to record an episode, and
ain't no way.
How'd you do that?
The fact that I can visualize that is crazy enough.
Y'all were in there for at least 8 hours and maybe recorded 30 minutes of something of quality, maybe.
What did we get done? 30 minutes of work for 8 hours?
Like,
but it was worth it.
Y'all had your eyes had to be dried out and stomach hurting from laughing so hard.
I was laughing and
face
mad
hurts
at the same time. I was mad. I'm like, yo, we gotta get this together. Like,
we got a deadline to meet.
Like, y'all gotta stop fucking around, but no, say it one more time.
You gotta look around like that. Yo, someone is paying me for this. This is amazing.
It's like you can't be mad about it, but
it's like we gotta record this episode, y'all.
Where can people find you?
Man, I am Carl Jones on Instagram, and I am Carl Jones on Twitter, and I'm on TikTok, but I gotta get better at my TikToking. So not quite up to par yet. But and then we are Martian B for Martian Blueberry, and Super Times Dope or Super X Dope. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram. But we haven't really put anything out yet for Super Dope, but stay tuned for the Super Dope stuff.
All right.
Yo, Carl Jones. This has probably been I'm still getting over the Tracy Morgan thing.
Tracy Morgan
I literally made a joke right when he was getting. He's like, "Tell him we want some more Franks." And then as he's talking,
just literally,
I hear it.
Tracy Morgan comes on and immediately, "Hey man, check the thing out on YouTube. I thought it was funny. You didn't look at it. And just okay." That's like, this fool is exactly how he is.
Well, the first time I met him, because I was on Last OG originally as I was the co-EP on the show, and then Keenan Ivory Wayans was the showrunner at the time. But after we finished writing the scripts, it was time to shoot, and Keenan went out to New York, and it didn't work out between him and Tracey. I won't get into details, but all I know is I'm planning to relax. It's the holidays, so me and Love, we're actually in Target, like we're shopping for stuff. We about to just kick it for through the holidays, and I get a call first from one of the producers, and he's like, "Hey, are you like really busy in like for the New Year? I mean, for the end of the year, the New Year?" And I'm like, "Well, I was planning on chilling a little bit, but what's up?" He's like, "I just want to make sure I'll call you back in a little bit." Then Jordan Peele calls me, and he's like, "Hey, man, how's it going?" Like, good. He's like, "So, are you able to fly to New York if possible? Not saying we need you, but just if you need to fly to New York." I'm like, "I think so, maybe." He's like, okay. I just wanted to know. Then later on that day, I got a call. It was like, "Peace." I'm like, "What's Tracy Morgan? Look, you and me the only ones that sold crack, okay? You're the only ones that sold crack. So you are my showrunner." Wait.
Nah.
Wait, what?
Nah.
He's like, "I need you in New York tonight. Peace."
Oh wow. Oh,
Okay,
wow.
so Kira, gang, we got to work on getting Tracy Morgan. I don't care how we do it.
I mean, you sent me to go find Frankie. I can find Tracy. I'm not that far away. I'm very certain I can find him.
Oh man!
So I get to New York, right, and I'm talking to Tracy, and basically, he was like, I would say he was like,
just imagine.
He ain't gonna care.
Basically, he was like, he loved Keenan, but that wasn't his brand. I'll just say that, right? And he felt like was moving more towards the Wayans brother brand, right? And so what he wanted to do is like I love the Boondocks, I love Black Dynamite. I want my shit to be raw. It's gotta be edgy. I was in prison. He's a method actor. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, I did 10 years in prison. I was in prison, and when I got out, he just started crying and shit. And he was breaking it down, but I could feel him. You know what I mean? And so I was like, well, look. I understood what he wanted to do, and I actually agreed with him. I agree with his vision and the kind of comedy he wanted to do, and also he wanted the show to have a lot of heart, and he wanted to have real moments, real emotional moments. So, dude, I literally I had to rewrite a lot of the scripts from scratch, and there were times when I was at the hotel writing like 11, 12 o'clock at night in the middle of the winter in New York. He's on set, and I'm getting a call like, "Yo, can you come to set right now? Tracy's flipping out, right?" And so I'll stop everything. I'll go to the set, and Tracey will be like, "Why am I in a strip club? Why they got me in a strip? Why they got me doing this? Why they got me doing that?" Like, because the scripts just wasn't. It just wasn't. He wasn't rocking.
Resonating.
Right.
Yeah, so, but I was the type of person where, well, first of all, it meant everything to me to make him happy. You know what I'm saying? So. I was in the freezing cold in the middle of the street rewriting entire scenes while the whole set, everybody's waiting to get the script. You know what I'm saying? In a whole nother location with different actors and everything.
And that was pressure.
So this became a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like Tracey, he'll get the script and be like, "Yo, this is not working." So I would fix it right there on the spot. Every single time there was a problem. So they started calling me the Tracy Whisperer. Well, because
he's only listening to you.
Well, but the thing is, you got to earn his respect.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And because he saw that I was willing to do whatever it took to get these scripts where they needed to be, I gained his respect and his love. You know what I'm saying? So now he treats me like a brother. You know what I'm saying? Like he, we got really, really close over that season 3 of Last OG. And so I was able to turn around like the last end of the season. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so he's the kind of person where he becomes indebted to people that truly look out for him and you know what I'm saying? And got
the grind.
Yeah.
Be rah and not have
Since the underground Harlem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Tracey a real one. He crazy, but he real.
Like,
Yeah.
He is.
Like he had the little beanie hat with the helicopter. I'm like, yo, when he showed up with Martin, we was like, yo, wait a minute. Like, we know that dude. Yo, but Carl, like I said, this door is open, my guy. We definitely I definitely want to work with you on some stuff, because this is everything you were talking about is right down our alley. Whether it's voice work, audio editing, just the whole nine, because this squad here,
black creator building, community building. Yeah, please, more please.
Well, yeah, I mean, y'all. I gotta, I don't have a hat on, but I would tip it, because you guys are killing it, man. I mean, I it's funny, man. I was thinking when the show first came on, I was listening to y'all and just looking at the chemistry that you have, and everybody's, everybody brings something really unique to the table, and everybody's funny. You guys got this really great energy, and it did remind me of when we, when we first first started up on the Boondocks, because it was like that kind of camaraderie, and it was that kind of friendship and that kind of energy. As a matter of fact, I remember, man, like when Chappelle had left and went to Africa or whatever, and he came back. Like as soon as he came back, he stopped by the Boondocks office. A lot of people don't know this. Like before he went to Comedy Central to let them know whether or not he was going to do the show, he stopped by the Boondocks office. And I remember he said to us, he was like, yo, like, he said, this love and this energy that y'all have, man, he's like, this is what I had in season 1 of the Chappelle show, and the shows and the work that we did. He said it got a little weird. You know what I'm saying? Like as they got successful and as money started to play a part in everything, it got really weird between them, and he said they lost the vitamin love. And I remember that was the one thing he told us. He's like, man, y'all gotta keep that energy, like that, you know what I mean? Like keep that close-knit family vibe. And then he was like, should I do this damn show? Like I'm about to go over $50 million.
He was speaking to himself.
Like, man, you gotta get that money. But I just, and it's funny because I'm just watching y'all. I'm like, man, that I love the vibe, man. I love the energy. I think it's a great podcast. And I would love to keep a relationship with y'all, man. Pause.
Will, can you please reset the clock? We might need a pause clock right next to Angela Bassett clock.
You also
Shout out to
have
Ross
your
Sass for that one. We got it. We got it. Oh man, Carl Jones, if you're not following this brother, you need to. And if you are, then you've probably seen just about everything he's done and worked on, and it's all been gold. It's all been gold, even down to Tracy Morgan calling in. I did not see that.
Never. Not on the bingo card. Not on the bingo card.
Oh man, but Carl, man, I gotta give you this. I gotta give you.
Thank you, bro.
And the work that you've put into all these projects. We love this background of the stories, the behind the scenes stories, the growth. Go out and go to We Are Martian B on IG. Check out Martian Blueberry. The link is in the bio. I am Carl Jones on IG. Go show some love to this brother. This and the company that they're building and the relationships that they're building with all these other actors, voice actors, whatever. Because it looks like this team's getting ready to. Hey, I'm just saying. I
have to go get my blowout too. Shoot. I'm gonna change up on y'all for just one day.
You have been hanging out with Candy too many times. Oh my God! But shout out to the people in the comments. Thank you for tuning in. Let's start getting everybody signed out. What did Tafari say? Tafari on one again. Oh, yeah, it was definitely frustrating.
Oh, wow.
Definitely.
Tafari, you lucky I love you.
Definitely was. Let's sign everybody out, starting with Lady Mandalore. Here you go.
Oh God, I'm stuck. Wait, okay, wait, I'm back. Okay, cool.
It's been that kind of episode.
It is. No, I'm like super emotional. Like it's all anyway. You can find me on Instagram at Room Full of Blerds. I also have an audio room on Saturday nights on this little app called Fanbase every Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I also have a podcast called Child of Mandalore. It's on Spotify, where I talk about the history of Mandalore in great detail, about its people and the planet itself. It's fun. It's a good time. I drink wine. It's fun.
I love how she just does that. Cinematic Assassin. Let's talk to him.
Hey man, I continue my social media hiatus. However, Carl Jones said he loves the vibe. I might have to dip back in just so I can bask in the greatness.
Bask in it, nigga.
Get all this magnificence.
Mrs. Abrams in the 3rd grade, you said I wasn't going to be shit. Now look at me. Carl Jones thinks I'm funny.
He's gonna pay what you owe.
But in the meanwhile, you can find me at Mayhem Media. Don't matter what site you're on, it's at MAYEHEM Media. I do movie reviews, TV reviews, skits, and talk shit. And outside of that, I'll always continue to stress that mental health is important. So go ahead and take that PTO. And if no one has told you today, I know you're trying your best. Your best is good enough. So keep going and spread a little love along the way.
There you go. And as the Black Spartan says, PTO means prepare the others.
But you ain't gonna be here. Prepare the others. That's not my job, Frank. Prepare the others. Anyway, of course, I am the other Will, aka Black Spartan. There's a reason for that name. It's just that construction is going on because I got a big head. Oh. I got him.
In the world, y'all can't see on the podcast, Will is a large human being. Every time he joked about us fighting, I was like, no. I'm gonna hit you with a spear. I'm not fighting you.
Thank you.
I swear they're all fake weights.
Oh, thank you, sir.
This is camera work. This is not broad shoulders. This is just the camera at a different angle. That's
Boy, stop with your bullshit. Stop the shit. I see your Instagram. You be flexing on there too. I've seen your updates. Don't play.
That's just gym mirrors. Don't fall for that. That's Planet
gym mirror.
That's like the gym mirror. They make you slimming down. That's all it is. That's how they keep you going back. But I am BlackFox447 on all socials. I usually post everything that I watch, that I review, that I play and read. I also do a couple of podcasts of my own. I do have my political podcast, How the Frack We Got Here, every Wednesday and Saturday on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. I also have a video game podcast with my co-host Joe Tonello called Get Bit Podcast. Also on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch every Friday as well. I also do write for the Blerd's Eye View website as the wrestling commentator. Why? Because wrestling is real and people are fake. Shout out to Mr. Candy for that one. I love when people laugh because that tells me they get it. Thank you for reference when I can say that. But aside from that, yeah, like and follow me. I'm very social, very friendly person. I will talk with almost anybody. I just have one simple rule: don't be a dick. And at the same time, I will say this as well, guys. There is no competition. It is only you versus you. We are all in different lanes. That's the reason why all of us find success at different times in life. The best thing you should do is always celebrate, because that's what we should be doing as a people, especially for my chocolate and seasoned mayo people. We need to be more along the lines of giving hands up, not hands down, because we need to take the doors off and remove the idea that we actually need to have a door opener or hold the door. Remove that son bitch off the hinges entirely. And above all else, whatever you're doing, I am rooting for you. I am happy for you. I will support you. But at the same time, it depends upon you to follow your goals and dreams. But just know, I got your back. Aside from that, don't be a dick.
There you go. Well, everybody, it is your favorite man on the wall, Chris Fury, back again. This has been the episode for the season, unless by some chance Jordan Peele and whoever else shows up. Who knows? Maybe Tracy Morgan. We don't know.
But as we speak.
Right. But if you are watching us and this is your first time, thank you for tuning in. Go check us out on IG. Check out the IG channel. Blerd's Eye View. The link tree is in the bio right there, and it will send you to all the great and fantastic places you can find us, including Facebook, Blerd's Eye View Podcast, all capital, and Twitch, Blerd's Eye View 1. You can also catch us on YouTube, so hit that subscription button and hit that notification bell, and you can get all these great episodes. It tells you when we're doing lives, when the shorts are dropping, and all that other great stuff. In the meantime, you can also listen to us on opulenceradio.com. Download the app completely free. You can listen to old episodes and piss your boss off every Tuesday and Thursday all day long. And trust me, it's a whole vibe. What am I saying? And until then, you can always check us out live every Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, all the same channels. I want to thank our guest, Carl Jones, in the building. I got to give this to him again because this has been one hell of an episode.
Thank you. Breathe it in, nigga. Basket it.
There you go. I need it. But like I do,
bask is such a non-gangster word. Bask.
Watch me. I'm gonna go to work. I'm
gonna be saying that a lot tomorrow. Just I sent the email. Bask in it. I'm sorry. That's gonna stick with me.
Oh man, but like I do with every episode when I end it off, this is a sign off. Remember to educate yourself and others, entertain yourself and others, and most of all, encourage yourself and others. This is Chris Fury along with this dope crew, including Carl Jones. This may not be the last time you see him. And if you missed this episode, shame on you. Shame, nigga.
We warned y'all. Gave y'all full day's notice.
For real. But until next episode, we will see y'all Tuesday. Have a great weekend. Sit it in. Watch the episode again. Why not? And until then, we are out.
Bye.
In the sky, it's a bird.